Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, continuing our positional previews as we count down to spring practice. We are just 1 week away from Tennessee taking the field for spring. I'm excited. There is a buzz in the air. Of course, a lot of that coming from the basketball program, winning the SEC Tournament Conference Championship, getting ready to head into March Madness. Excited about that as well. Tons of schedule stuff coming your way. Make sure you hit that thumbs up just below the video. It helps the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. But like I said, schedule stuff coming up this week. Tonight, Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m., we're going live. Going to be playing NCAA 2013. Talking a little Vol football. Come by, hang out. Should be a good time. Also, Thursday night, round 1 of March Madness. Because of the start time, Dauber and Indy Kid will not be able to go live after the game. I'm going to fire up a live stream. We're going to have a watch party, so I hope you guys will join me for that. Going to do a fan call-in show. So make sure you're a member of the channel. You can click that little join button down beside subscribe. I'll send the link out to those that are members, and you guys can come on, hang out, and watch the basketball game with me. But let's jump into this preview. Let's talk about the linebackers. You know, a position group that going back a year ago, just 1 year ago, heading into the 2021 season, so many question marks around this group. So many question marks when Henry T and Crouch checked out. They were gone. Martavius French dismissed from the team. You had suspensions. At one point, you had a long snapper taking snaps at linebacker during spring practice. That's how little depth this football team had at the linebacker position last season. So going into 2022 still could be a question mark. Some people may say this linebacker group is not good enough. The question for me is, how good can they be? Because I think they're better than some of us might think. As we head into the season, Tennessee is losing absolutely nobody at this position group. So it's almost like when we went back and we talked about the offensive line returning 4 or 5 starters. Same thing here. You're returning everybody. This position group is, you know, they've got some stability. But can they take a step forward, or is it going to be more of the same? When you look at this position group, the big question mark for me, it all starts with Juwan Mitchell. Has he bought in? You know, we're talking about a guy that in 2020 led Texas in tackles. He comes to Tennessee, doesn't get to participate in spring. He shows up during the summer, so he goes through fall camp, and you're hoping we get Juwan Mitchell that you saw in 2020. Gets banged up early, but there were a lot of rumors out there, a lot of speculation that Juwan Mitchell wasn't buying into this program. He is coming back. A lot of rumors that he was going to transfer out. Juwan Mitchell is coming back for 2022, and he's going to put it all on the line. This is a one and done. You got 1 year, Juwan Mitchell. 1 year. How bad do you want it? Does he buy in, and does he go back to that 2020 Juwan Mitchell, or do we see what we got last year? Now, as far as the guys that were on the field last year, Jeremy Banks, Aaron Beasley, these two guys, both number 1 and number 2 in tackles for Tennessee last season. Jeremy Banks, 128 tackles. He also tied for the lead in sacks at 5.5 sacks on the season. Also had an interception. Aaron Beasley with 84 tackles on the season. I think the area that these guys need to improve on, I thought Tennessee was really good in run defense. I felt like Beasley and Banks, they both play downhill. Obviously, Jeremy Banks is a dog, man. He's got that mentality. He's aggressive. He's coming to hit somebody. I love that about Jeremy Banks. And a lot of people questioned him. And there was almost this narrative last season that Jeremy Banks wasn't that great of a linebacker. But when you go back and you look at last season and you watch the tape, Jeremy Banks had a really good season. The area that Banks and Beasley really need to improve upon is the middle of the field. You know, Tennessee struggled with running quarterbacks, and some of that could fall on Tim Banks. Some of that could be schematics. You know, you got a spy, and even at times, it seemed like when you had a spy, it didn't take long. We saw it in the Ole Miss game. It's almost like they released their center to come one-on-one block the spy, and Banks and Beasley could not get off that block, and that destroyed Tennessee. But it's not just the quarterback run game, it's also in the short passing game. I think Banks, Beasley, even, you know, we'll see if Juwan Mitchell, we'll see who wins that starting job. They've got to do a better job in the middle of the field, whether that be man-to-man coverage, whether that be zone defense, whatever the case may be. They have to be better in the middle of the field. And again, we're talking about linebackers here, but some of that bleeds over to the defensive line. Same as when we talked about the defensive backs a few days ago. The defensive line has to be better. They have to get more pressure and allow the linebackers to have more success. You're only going to get coverage across the middle of the field for so long. If you've got a linebacker on a wide receiver or a tight end, that window, you got to get pressure, so it's all going to start up front. We're going to review that defensive line here coming up in a couple of days. But as a group, I feel like these linebackers can be pretty good. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Juwan Mitchell steps up? Do you think how good can Jeremy Banks and Juwan Mitchell be as your top two guys? And then you've got Aaron Beasley in your back pocket. You've also got William Mohan, a guy that transferred in last season. Didn't really see a whole lot of playing time. He's a guy that was featured on special teams a little bit. Also, Aaron Willis. How good could Aaron Willis be? His name was thrown around a lot last year as a guy that could possibly step up. Didn't really see him a whole lot. This year, sophomore season, again, just a guy that adds depth. Solon Page is a guy that got some run last year. He's back. Also, Quasi Garland is back. And then you've got your incoming freshman in Elijah Herring and Caleb Perry. I don't know that I would expect to see a lot from them this particular season. But again, it's good to continue to add depth and build that linebacker room. But for me, again, just to recap, it all boils down to Juwan Mitchell. I think if Juwan Mitchell steps up and we see that Juwan Mitchell from 2020, the guy that led Texas in tackles, and I know the SEC is a different animal, but I feel like if Juwan Mitchell can step up and contribute and be what he was in that 2020 season, I think we could have a pretty good group of linebackers with Jeremy Banks and Juwan Mitchell leading the way, Solon Page and Aaron Beasley as their backups. I think this linebacker group could actually be a strength of this defense if Juwan Mitchell takes that next step. Another question, does Jeremy Banks step up as a leader of this defense? He leads by example. The way he plays, if you had 11 guys that had the heart and the fight and the dog that Jeremy Banks has in him, this football team would be a lot better. But can he be a vocal leader? Can he lead off the field? Can he lead in the film room? Somebody has to step up. We talked about it throughout the course of these previews when we look at the defense. Who's going to replace Matthew Butler? Who's going to replace Alontae Taylor and Theo Jackson as the leader of this defense? And it's going to be fun to watch as we get into spring practice, we go through spring camp, who actually comes out and takes that leadership role. And last season, you could see it not just, in the reports coming out of practice, what the coaches were saying. You could see it when these guys spoke to the media, just how much of a step that the Matthew Butlers, the Theo Jacksons, the Alontae Taylors were taking as far as a leadership role. So we'll see if Jeremy Banks, I've got him circled. He's the guy that I would look to be the leader, not just in the linebacker room, but across the defense as a whole. It's his senior season. Again, led the team in tackles, led the team in sacks last year. I look for Jeremy Banks to have another big-time season. I just hope Juwan Mitchell comes along beside him. But you guys know what to do. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that comment section. What's your overall thoughts about the linebacker room? Are they better than we thought? I think they're definitely better than they were a year ago, but are they better than we thought? They got a lot of criticism. Hit that comment section. Let me know, what do you expect from Juwan Mitchell, Jeremy Banks, the group as a whole. Also, don't forget to join me tonight, 6:30 p.m. I know there's a core group of you guys that love the NCAA 2013 play-along series, but some of you that don't check it out, come by, hang out, let's talk Tennessee football. I'm playing a video game, yep, but in the background, we are talking VAWL football. So come hang out tonight, 6:30. Also, watch party Thursday afternoon for March Madness. And also check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. Just go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate any support. Anybody that picks up a shirt, we appreciate it. Somebody just ordered one yesterday, State Pride merchandise. But again, any and all support greatly appreciated. Don't forget, if you want to join the fan call-in portion of the March Madness watch party, make sure you hit that join button down below and become a member of the channel. We appreciate you guys, any and all support. We love it. We thank you. You guys make this community, this channel, what it is. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.